Love so real, got us up like this. Say it's impossible because it's illogical. You calling, I got to go with you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Carter Hall, and welcome to another episode of the Carter Hall podcast. I have a legit elite CrossFit Games competitor with me. She's pretty strong for her mom, and her Instagram was keeping motivated and laughing both at the same time. I don't know how, but Arielle Loewen, thank you for taking your time. Thanks for taking time to come to meet with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love talking to another fellow CrossFitter, so it's awesome.
That's awesome. I always love talking, like you said, the same thing, talking to another CrossFit people, because I'm like, we're just talking off air about like the community aspect of CrossFit. So I'm like, that's so fun to like just I find myself talking after the workout. I'm just dead. I'm like, I find myself talking to athletes after. I'm like, I should probably leave. There's other classes going on. So I'm like, this is why not start a podcast? So thank you. Like,
That's
yeah, it's always fun
perfect.
talking to people.
Yeah, so you've been in it since 2018. What gym do you go to in Amarillo?
So currently I'm at CrossFit Amarillo, but I was at I don't say smaller gym, but I was at Tornado Alley originally for 3 years, and I kind of moved over to CrossFit Amarillo currently.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was in
So
Amarillo for the first time last year. I think y'all have the 806 Classic. Is that what it
yeah,
is? And like
yeah,
Froning was there with the team.
yeah.
I
They
wanted to
come
do it
in.
this year, but I think it's the week before Rogue. So it just like timing wise wouldn't happen great.
Oh wow, that's what a crazy timing.
Yeah. Were you there
So
last year?
yes, I was. So I think Rich and all the Mayhem guys come out like I think every year. They've been coming over for a little bit, but I've never seen Rich and them compete in person until like a couple years ago. And I that was a funny story. I think I've said it on the air before, but it's just they're in the middle of a workout. I show up and like, oh, there's an event going on. I see a Rich running in the middle of an event. I'm like, I should not be here. Why am I doing? Like, why am I? I'm like back out. I'm like that Homer Simpson meme where I just back into the grass a little
Like,
bit.
yep, yep.
So I'm about to get kicked out and go to jail here. Maybe I don't know.
No, that's awesome.
But yeah. So so you talked about Rogue. Are you planning on going to Rogue? I don't know if that's something you want to say publicly yet, but that's that a competition you're kind of prepping for right now.
Yeah, it is invitational. So if they invite me, that's one that I always say yes to, like right away. So I think they're slowly sending out invites as we speak.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
you kind of want that stay ready, or you just like, I guess with the games being over, are you how I guess let me back this up. How long for I guess firstly, how long was your break, I guess, from the games? And
Yeah.
secondly, I guess, are you like staying ready, always ready kind of person?
The season's kind of weird because we have the CrossFit Games and the WFP. So
Hmm.
I don't get my normal off season like I would like. So I finished the games, I think like the first week of August. I took 1 week off. No, I think I took 3 days off. And then I
Oh
had a
wow.
high rocks that Saturday with my husband. And then we have the WFP Tour Stop 2 coming up next week at this time. So ideally, I would have loved to take a month off and not even a month off, just do like the CrossFit.com workouts. A
Oh
little
yeah.
bit less crazy, a little bit less volume, but the way the season lined up for me, I don't really have the option to. So right back to it.
Always on the grind, right?
Right. But it's, you're a CrossFitter. If you enjoy it, it's not that big of a deal. If it
No,
was like, oh, I don't want to do this, then that's a whole different story. But I enjoy the fitness part.
that's awesome. So are you so for you when you train, whatever, is there like a certain movement that you like kind of dislike the most? Maybe like when it gets programmed, are you like, oh no, I have this is programmed. I kind of like, are you doing that situation? Like, is there a movement that basically when you see that happens?
Yeah, there's quite a few. So I try and at least program them once a week. So like thrusters, you always know that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Devil's press, you always know that's going to hurt. So I try and throw them in once a week. So I'll do like devil's press with maybe a run. I like
Nice.
to run, but I don't like devil's press. So you like balance them out. But yeah, there's always echo bike. If it's a fast echo bike sprint, you just know it's going to hurt.
Most definitely. I kind of stay on the concept too bike because the way I see it, the echo bike is always scary to me. But then
Yep.
again, there's different levels to this, obviously, because you're at the level you're at. I'm like, uh, I'll go with the concept two bike today. But like you said,
That's nice.
doubles
Your
press.
gym has those.
Oh yeah, we
Most,
have
yeah.
yeah concept two. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, just most gyms don't have C2 bikes.
Yeah, we have quite a bit. It feels like we have Concept 2. We have pretty much all of them. The air assault bike and all that jazz. And but yeah, we have the Concept. I kind of switch off between the Concept 2 and the air assault bikes. But all the I call them. I like the buttery bro always say scale for life, right? I'm that guy too. So I like all the RX people deal with the Echo bikes. But if there's one extra, I'll snatch it. But yeah, but for the most part, I'm always on the either Concept 2 or the air assault bike. That's where I live.
You,
But
yeah, you
yeah,
just be the
it's
servant. You're like, y'all can have the hard work or the
yeah,
crazy.
the crazy work exactly.
Yeah.
But thrusters, I felt like thrusters and doubles press are the two of the crazy ones. I'm like,
Yep.
that's
And
not
it
fun.
just takes so much effort to do a rep. So for a thruster, you have to squat and you have to press. For his doubles press, you have to burpee and snatch. It's like by the time you get down, get up, you're like, oh, that was only one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we had those in the was it the open workout that was in Miami, right? Was there
Yeah,
thrusters in that?
there was thruster. There were a lot of thrusters in that one.
Dude, too many thrusters. Yeah, but I was watching it, and whenever I guess the CrossFit, I guess when Dave was doing the announcement and all that with you, was it you, Danielle, Brandon, and like on who the third person was?
Olivia.
There you go. Yeah. So whenever
Mhm.
y'all were doing the announcement, I was like, oh no, we're adding more weight. Oh no, it's like it's every week. It feels like there's something always like what does Dave have up his sleeve every
Oh,
week?
yeah. Did you do the open?
I did. This is my first. I've done the open in the past, but this is my first time to sign up for the open.
Nice.
So it was a good challenge. It was a really great challenge because I felt like for me that was what I was really wanting, if that makes sense. Sorry, this
Yeah,
is your podcast. I felt like I'm too much talking about me here. I hate when that
I'm
happens.
asking.
So I'm like, oh my god, I'm using your mouth to talk to me. But
Yeah.
so yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a good challenge. But what did what did you speaking of the open? What did you take away from the open this year?
The open was really hard. I think I took away pacing. So like the final workout number 3 was really hard and I did it live, but I just came out way too hot and died. So just not being a rookie and the open workout comes out, you're like, I feel great. I'm gonna go really hard. And then 2 minutes in, you're already gassed. So just
Exactly.
realizing like I've been in the sport since 2012, but I'm still making rookie mistakes of pacing and not going out too hot when you get excited.
Yeah, pacing is always one of those things that can get pretty tricky because you're gonna get too spicy too quick or spicy in the sense of like it's going to be crazy later on. So it's either you got to pay that price somewhere. It feels like it's like
Exactly.
pacing is something I'm still working on. Like you said, it's one of those things you just got to work on and hopefully you master it. But it's a fun game sometimes.
Hmm.
So a little bit, I guess, about you. We're talking off air. So you were in gymnastics, correct?
I was. Yeah, I did gymnastics from I was 3 to 16.
Oh
After
wow,
16, I just did high school sports like cheerleading and I ran track.
that's awesome. So with you doing gymnastics and track and all the fun like cheering, how did you discover CrossFit? Was that something that someone said like in school? Like how was that a thing? Like how did you discover like because I was a wrestler growing up and football, all that fun jazz. And my brother, older brother, he's 3 years older than me, Brandon, he was a CrossFit coach. He got his O1, all that fun stuff. So he would go to this
Hmm.
thing called CrossFit. I'm like, what is CrossFit? I didn't have anything to do with it. And obviously graduated high school, needed something to do, gained the freshman of 15. And I'm like, my first workout was Murph, not knowing that was that what that entailed. So I died in the first mile, needless to say. But that's my introduction to CrossFit. How did you get introduced to CrossFit?
Yeah, so I did cheer in high school, and then while I was in high school, I worked part-time at a cheer facility, like a cheer gym in my local town. And then right after college and or high school ended, I worked there full time, and my boss did CrossFit. So we would do all these CrossFit workouts like do a tumble pass and then do 10 burpees. Do a tumble pass and then burpees. And so eventually he was like, "Hey, you would love CrossFit. Come try a CrossFit class with me." And he straight up brought me to my first CrossFit class, which was CrossFit Midland, which isn't too far from here. But I was a broke, right out of high school student, so I actually couldn't afford it because it's expensive. So
Mhm.
after my first class, I was instantly hooked, and I was like, I have to find a way to make this work. And so I just went up to the owner and was like, "Hey, I love your program. I love your class. Is there anything I can do to help y'all in exchange for a membership?" And he actually let me clean the gym in exchange for a membership. They had these sweat
Awesome.
towels. I would wash the sweat towels, just like, I'll do whatever I can just to afford this. And so that's how I got into it. And it was cool because he taught me everything. His name was Brian Rideout. He taught me like what handstand wall walks were, what a thruster is, what a snatch, a clean. And he actually was with me whenever I first made my first regionals. So he got to see the cool progression of like this
That's
high
awesome.
school girl wearing her cheer shoes to work out. And now she's a regional athlete at the time.
That's so cool. Like those origin stories really like stick with you. That's pretty cool because like I said, my first gym I was at, they offered that same thing too. Being a college kid, the living, having two part-time jobs and all that fun
Yep.
stuff. So they offered like, hey, do you want to do you want to clean the gym? I'm like, for membership, like, yes, let's do it. So I did that maybe for like a little bit, and I'm like, finally had enough money to where I could probably pay for a membership and all that fun stuff. So those stories, I feel like
Love it.
that's really cool to hear that story. I'm like, I'm not the only one that does it.
Yeah, and it also makes you appreciate what you got. You're like, I will
Exactly.
work for this because I really want to go to your CrossFit class. Or sometimes you just pay for it and you just overlook it and don't even really value it.
Exactly. It's one of those things like you're lucky to like I don't know if lucky is the word, but like grateful, I guess is a better word to really like you
Yeah.
appreciate, I guess. Yeah, he's like you said, just the amount of work it goes into cleaning a gym because no, I guess people just come and like come to the 5:30 class or whatever, hang out and work out and put their stuff up and go home. But it's like no, you gotta vacuum, you gotta clean up the chalk because I'm the chalk monster in my class, so to speak.
Yep.
So I'm like constantly at that time it's like vacuuming, mopping, doing this. When hoverboards came out, I saw people cleaning stuff like that. I'm like, I was saying, well, that was the thing whenever I was there. I would have known that would have done that, but yeah,
That would have been awesome.
exactly. So that was just funny hearing you say like when you said that, I'm like PTSD a little bit.
Yep. Yep.
So when you went like, I guess kind of like the progression from you, like you said, finding CrossFit and your coach at your gym, finally seeing you progress to a regionals athlete. What was like your first regionals like? Do you remember that at all? Like what your feeling was like when you finally went like training for it and when you finally got there, what was that like at all?
Yeah, it was very surreal. So I had done the Open 2013, didn't qualify for regionals. 2014, I did. And I remember the gym making a really big deal out of it. So it was really cool and really
Yeah.
special. We made t-shirts, the whole section sat together. But it opened with, you did like a hang snatch and you had 3 attempts. And then after that, you had one max distance handstand walk. So it was like a back-to-back event. And I grew up a gymnast. So
Yeah.
I did decent on the snatch, but I won the handstand walk. So my first time ever truly out on the floor in 2014, I was able to win a regional event, and that was really cool. And I would have qualified if I would have qualified for the games, my first regionals, but I sucked at legless rope climbs. So I just came out way too hot, no repped some rope climbs, and then just got like dead last in that event.
Oh really? So it was the legless rope climbs that got you?
Yeah, so it was you did a shuttle run, legless
Oh,
rope
so
climb, shuttle run, legless rope climb, 10 rounds of that.
okay. So it just so it's just burning all over. It feels like it just
Yeah.
all that soda runs and all. It's just that
Yeah.
sounds not fun at
It was
all.
cool though. But I think it was in San Antonio. And I remember there being a huge crowd where I think of like sanctionals now or whatever,
Oh
semifinals
yeah.
now, not quite as crazy, but back then it was like your different sections of different CrossFit gyms cheering on their athletes. And that was a really cool experience.
So it was just pretty cool to have like your crew behind you cheering you on from the stands, essentially just
Right.
repping your swag and repping all the fun stuff. That must have been
Yeah.
pretty cool visual.
It was very special compared to now. I'm a little bit more well known, so people cheer for me just because they like me, which is really cool. But back then it was all the members of the noon class I went to who watched me learn a snatch, watched me do this, watched me do that, and now they're like, "Oh, we thought this girl was good. Let's go cheer for her in San Antonio."
Yeah,
So a lot more like home crowd, I guess. So that was pretty cool.
that's awesome. So do you ever like speaking of that, like having like growing that popularity a little bit, do you still like does it still feel surreal for you whenever if you go out in public and you get noticed? Does it feel like does it still feel surreal to you at some point or what does that feel like?
It's it's almost like two different worlds. So in my everyday world, which is 90% of the time where I live in Texas, nobody recognizes me. But
Oh,
when
really?
I'm in the CrossFit niche world, which is only when I'm competing, I might go to dinner and get recognized. I might walk close to the venue and get recognized. But it's so niche that I don't ever
Mm.
expect people to know me unless I'm in the CrossFit scene.
Like, that makes sense. Like if you're working out, like you doing your workout and stuff like that makes sense. Like you're in your CrossFit world, you get
Yeah.
noticed more. That makes sense.
Like at the games, when I'm close to the venue, it does get crazy. But it's a fun crazy because it's only my life for 4 days. And then I go back to Texas and nobody really knows or cares. So it makes me appreciate it.
That's funny. What was like so? Speaking of the CrossFit Games, there was is it 7 or 8 events in that first day? Because there was
Yeah.
so this was like the 20th anniversary. Because I watched most of it. There's a 20th anniversary, and there was so I guess to celebrate it, there was 20 events. So what was that first day like? I guess from your the overall experience, what was that first day like for you?
Yeah. The first day was really, really hard because there were 7 events. And granted, one of the events was a 4.5 mile ranch run. So it's not even like 7 short ones. They were all 7 beefy, chunky ones. It was the hardest day I've ever had competition wise physically, but mentally, I was so thankful my mind was locked in. So it was like, okay, this event is done. Rest, recover. We're doing it again. Never was it like, oh, I'm exhausted. I don't want to do this. This sucks. So it was
Yeah.
enjoyable, even though it was so much. But once we finished the swim, because we had like a CrossFit workout, Dave's ranch run, a heavy lift, a bike, and a swim. When the swim was over, I still felt good. But when we got back to the hotel, all my adrenaline crashed and I was just starving, had a horrible headache, and just went right to bed. So I was good, but then my body was like, hey, you're not okay. Rest. You're done.
I bet I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, those 7 events would like to a normal person would be like they'll be done after the first one, much less have to do
Yeah.
6 more on top of that one.
6 more. And
So
then it was really hot as well. So it wasn't just like in an air conditioned facility.
no, it's what so it's just crazy just watching it from a like perspective, I guess a fan point of view, I guess what I'm trying to say. I was like you said, the ranch one was just that one alone looked like it was going to be like
Brutal.
I don't not hard. I don't want to say hard or easy, but that one I feel like it was like the most. I don't want to say taxing. Was that the most like us crazier one out of the ones? Because like yes, you're running, but it's also you're in the heat. You're changing. You know, I guess you're going up and down hills, all the different stuff. Was that one? I guess not the hardest, but the most. I guess what am I trying to say here?
It was the most
Crazy
hardest. So
hardest, yeah.
you're
I don't see
totally
the hardest.
right.
I don't
Yeah.
want to put words around. Yeah, like I don't want to put words
No,
in your
and
mouth, but
I mean, even if you look at the times, I think I was like 50 minutes. So you're talking 50 minutes of a hard effort. And
yeah,
then they bus you back. 20 minutes later, you got to go warm up for max back squat. So that was hard, but also you didn't get to like rest from the hard. I was like, okay, go squat.
back.
And your legs are just like jello because they just went up and down all these hills. But we were fine. We handled it and everybody's still maxed out.
Yeah, it's what y'all call it's what y'all do, right? The cost y'all pay to be elite, right?
Exactly. But it's only if all of the 4 days were like that, we would have been destroyed. Thank goodness it was just one day. We had an off day and then it was a little bit more chill the next days. But if you were a spectator, it was the best games ever because you got to watch us again and again and again and again all weekend.
That's funny. That's just so cool because like I was watching it, I'm like, they just ran. They're about to do lift. Like they're technically
Yeah.
3 events, but it was really one big event, if that makes with the lifts, the 3 heavy
Yeah.
lifts. But I was like, man, because you got the deadlift, you're using your legs a lot on that. And you strict press, you got whatever, all this different stuff. So it's like, man, you're just constantly using your legs like for like back to back events. It just
Yeah.
I was feeling for y'all from my house watching it. I'm like, then again, like I said, I'm in an air conditioned place. Like, oh, that looks
Yeah.
horrible. But yeah, I was watching, like, man, I felt for y'all that day.
Yeah. But that's what we sign up for, you know?
Exactly. But it's fun watching y'all, obviously. But were you surprised at all whenever, like, speaking of your strict press, were you surprised how quickly that took the fire on social media after it happened?
Yeah. Because I finished and I was chilling there and I was like, oh no, I just got a notification. Hiller tagged me in a video. And that's usually a bad thing. But then I was like, oh, it's just my strict press. no big deal. And then I looked at the video and I was like, oh, my strict press was bad, but people loved it. And I was like, if nothing else, I fought hard and I really wanted to get that weight. And I just think it's so cool and amazing because now I'm tagged in like all these people doing max strict press of
Yeah.
pulling an Arielle Loewen. And I'm like, I don't know if it's a good trend I started, but it's a trend. So I'll take it.
Yeah, every time I go on Instagram and I saw a video, I'm like, 'cause I saw your event live on the games. I'm like, oh, she finally got that weight. Now I'm over. Like since I follow you on Instagram, I saw that you would share people's strict presses. I'm like, wow, this is really taking the social media game. It's really like
It
I
is.
kind of laugh at it, but I'm like, it's kind of funny.
It is funny. It's funny because it was so bad technique, but I later found out that's how the strongmen used to strict press, somebody told me. So they
Oh,
were like,
really?
you might feel like it's weird, but that's what used to happen back in the like 1900s. But yeah, I was using every ounce of my arch, my lean back, and all that stuff.
That's funny. Just because I saw that, I'm like, oh, see, I wasn't even thinking about the like your yeah. I was just like, oh, Ariel got it. She got it. Like I was really trying to check the scores. Like, did she win? Like, what was the winning weight on that one? I was like trying to literally check. I wasn't really paying attention. And like the next day, I think that's when I finally noticed. I'm like, I didn't even know. I didn't even catch that in the moment. I guess.
That's awesome. No, I don't think people remember the winning weight, but they remember the crazy strict press, so I'll take it.
That's funny. What was your I don't know if that could be it if that was your choice, but what was your favorite moment, I guess, from the games this year?
I feel like I had a different favorite moment each day. So like that was from day one, super special. The sandbag toss one was really fun, where we did
Oh
like the
yeah.
3D throw. That was
Oh yeah.
just fun athleticism. Nobody really knows what's good, what's bad. I really liked the forward roll one was really
Oh yeah.
fun. And then of course getting the spirit of the games was really special.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw that. Congratulations on that too, because I saw
Thanks.
that. I'm like, oh man, Ariel, if she deserved that. It felt like when I think of the Spirit Games, there's certain athletes that come to mind. I'm like, yeah, Ariel just got that awesome. From just a point of view, and I've seen, I'm like, yeah, you can feel it through the TV screen a little bit.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I was really honored they chose me.
Yeah. So exactly, of course. So like, um, so that one event we're talking about like the toss, the sandbag toss. I think I was someone. I don't know. I was watching a video. I think maybe one of Savon's backstage behind the scenes passes videos. I don't know. So I could talk that they're talking about like that felt like even though it was an event, it was more like okay, we're resting, but we're here to just throw a little event in there, just for even though it's a rest event. Is that what it felt like to you, or where like it was like okay, it's an event, but you're still technically resting, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it was the easiest event I've ever done, if that's like the way you'd want to put it.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
what was I'm trying to remember? I don't know if I saw that event live, but what was the weight for the was it that was all different weights for men and women, right?
I think the guys were 30 pounds and ours was 20 pounds, but it felt very light. But
Oh,
it was
really?
almost like a shot put. It might feel light, but there's still like body technique of how you twist, how you move your arms just to get the maximum distance. So it was light, but there's definitely technique to it, like all the strongmen do it.
Oh yeah. So it was more of like a did it feel like a game of inches to y'all at all? Like as far as like trying to win it, or like was it just like okay, let's go out there and have fun with this event?
It was more like just throw it because you couldn't
Just throw it,
really see
get it over
whose bag was
with.
farthest. And then they take you off so fast, it was hard to know.
Yeah. I was thinking about that too. I'm like, man, yours is like when I went back and watched like the clips on social media, I'm like, did they get to know? Like how do they know? Like like how do they know the distance? But then I
No,
also
I don't
watched
know.
but the one event that I've seen I think that was fun for me to watch you in was the ring event, the I'm blanking on the name of it, the new one that they demonstrated this year,
Yeah.
the rowing one. The rolling one.
Hmm.
I'm I can't think of the name of it. I can't do anything on ring row. So um was that event that whenever that got mentioned or leaked supposedly, was that something that you were like kind of excited for, nervous for? What was that like for you when you first I guess heard I guess that was a new movement coming?
Yeah, we had to do the forward roll to support, to backward rolls to support. And I'd been seeing athletes in different training camps practicing those since June. And I was like, there's no way they're throwing these in the games. They look really gimmicky. They look like grid league. I'm not
Yeah.
going to practice them until they're announced. And then July 1st, wouldn't you know it, they were announced. And so I
Yeah.
like did my time, learned what I needed to, threw them in a workout here and there. But for me being a gymnast, they came very naturally. So I didn't realize when we were like warming up for that event how hard they were for some athletes to string them together and stuff. So just going out there on the floor, I felt pretty confident, but I didn't expect the crowd to get behind it as much as they did. And the arena was electric and it made that event so fun.
Yeah, just watching it, I'm like, this. I feel like the crowd was getting pretty loud because I feel like
They
you caught.
were.
I feel like you
And it's
caught that.
fun.
You caught. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, and it's funny because we're just stationary on the rings. So I didn't expect the crowd to really get behind it.
Mhm.
But I don't know if they felt the race or I was just excited, hyping them up. Who knows? But they seemed like they loved it.
Yeah, I was watching it at home and I was getting pretty excited, like, let's go. Like because I think you came into the lead pretty often, pretty early, midway through it. You came into the lead. I'm like, let's go. I was getting excited watching. I'm like, I felt it, whatever, and I could hear and I noticed like, wow, the crowd's really getting into it too. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, I can only imagine what it was like in the arena, like hearing that as a competitor. I'm like, oh, that must have been so cool hearing that.
It was, and I've never heard them erupt just for me before. So that was something that was really special. And after they erupt, I just like looked around at him and tried to soak it in. But some of my favorite videos from that event were like Patrick Vellner's fail, some people who just like
Oh yeah,
flopped down on the mat. I don't know if you saw those.
yeah, yeah. That was pretty
Yeah.
funny. It's 'cause, like some of them are like they're just like the moving the match in and out of the way. And I'm like, thankfully they had something there, so if they like they one wrong move, they could just like face plant. I'm
Flop.
like, that's
Totally.
that's so crazy. But was that what was that inconvenience? Was that kind of a crazy thing, like them moving the match in and out of the way? Was that something that was weird to y'all, or did I don't even notice that?
A little bit, but it was the judge's responsibility. If I had to do that, I would have been like, oh, I'm so over this. My arms are already tired. I have to move it. But the judge had all the hard work. So I was like, hey, as long as I can get a riser so I can actually grab the rings, y'all do whatever you needed to.
Yeah. So was that pretty? That was that workout? Was that a pretty fun event considering your background, your gymnastics background? Was that a pretty fun? Like just okay, like it's like when you watch Matt Fraser, you go watch him like he can lift a barbell with heavy weights, obviously because of his background. But with you being in gymnastics, was that something like okay, I feel pretty good with this going into it?
Yeah, definitely. I just came out a little bit too hot. So I think I did 3 rounds. Going into round two, my arms were already a little bit dead. So just again, rookie mistakes of like, even though you feel good in the first round, you should still pace it and take your time. But yeah, that event was really exciting.
Yeah, it was super fun to watch. I think that one was like, oh man, there was a lot of fun events to watch, but that one I was like, he said just being stationary on the rig or on the rings, that was like pretty fun, like fan involvement wise. That was pretty fun to watch. I think, but I mean that's me saying that, but just
Good.
noticing all that stuff, I'm like, oh man, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so I was like, oh man, that was really like a lot of fun watching that, and I guess one thing I mentioned earlier is about your social media because like when I first started following you, I was like, oh man, she's pretty. I know Arielle Loewen. She's pretty. That's pretty cool. And then I started watching some of your stuff. The first video I remember watching and actually laughing at was the muscle up video you made about like why
Yeah.
muscle ups are so funny, like why that's so cool, like why and I'm like, there's videos of you muscling doing a muscle up and going back onto a cruise ship, leaving the nursing home and all that different stuff. So was that like a sense of humor thing that came to you like pretty quickly, or where did that come from?
Yeah, whenever I first made my first games, I guess in 2021, I got my first sponsorship deal. So they're like, hey, you need to post this many times a month. And I remember being like, okay, I'm going to look to those I look up to copy their social media. And it just like wouldn't connect with my audience because I feel like it felt fake. And it was like me standing there smiling with a picture. And it just made me realize I want to do more and kind of create my own brand that people can relate to. So it's just been learning my audience and kind of just showing my personality and goofiness. So now I'll have my sponsorship posts, but I try and make them more creative. Or I'll be like, okay, I'll post that, but now I'm just going to post this just for fun because I like it.
Yeah,
So I've started to throw in so many more. I just want to make this because I like this, not because I
yeah,
have to. And I think my community, and I mean, even you said, they love just the ones I'm like, hey, this is goofy, this is kind of dumb but funny. Let's do it.
yeah.
The
I
biggest thing I've added this year, though, since January, are doing challenges.
Mhm.
So like me and Dylan will try a challenge. I tried one yesterday with my daughter, and I think my community is starting to like those too. Just like not being afraid to fail, but trying something new.
That's always funny because, like you said, like when you combine those two, like your business stuff and always trying new challenges. When I watch them, I'm like, okay, what is Arielle posting today? I'm ready for a laugh, or either be laugh or have something motivated. Either way, I'm like, I'm gonna have a good time when I when I see something you post. I'm like, it's either gonna be funny or a new challenge, or I want to go something and do in my gym right now. So let's go. What's Arielle doing?
I love it. Thank you. And I think for a long time I was waiting for somebody to tell my story, this and that. And I just realized like if I want people to know my personality, watch my stuff, follow my stuff, I have to put in the work. And so I've just been trying to put in the work.
That's so awesome. Well, I have a couple more questions. I can't thank you for your time, Ariel.
Yeah.
But do you ever like whenever you go to post something, are you ever like, man, I probably shouldn't have posted that? Or right when you're about to post, you're like, oh man, should I post this? Did I not do that? Do you ever have those thoughts or no?
Sometimes I'll be like, man, I don't know if people will like this reel, and I'll give it 24 hours. And if it flops, I'll just delete it. So I try not to put too much weight on social media because it is fake in a sense. But
Mhm.
I mean, people are awesome. Usually they like most of the things, but I'll usually show my husband if I'm a little like, oh, is this good? And he might be
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's funny. Or he's like, oh, okay, that's kind of dumb.
My favorite thing you did the other day on Instagram was the big hair clip you had to get his
Oh,
reaction. I was like laughing, like out loud, audibly, like laughing because I'm like, I didn't know if I was catching that at first. I'm like, I saw the hair and I'm like, and I read it, I'm like, oh, okay, it's the hair
that's
clip. Okay,
awesome.
it's purposely funny. I'm like, okay, I got it. And I'm like, and then his reaction just walking in and stopping. I'm like, that was my favorite part, is just his reaction walking in.
I love it. Yeah. So people liked that. So I'll listen to my audience as well. So because they liked that, I'm gonna, whenever I go to check in for the World Fitness Project next week, I'm gonna wear that big hair clip and just like
You should
get
do
the
it.
people's reactions backstage.
You should definitely do that. It's just like have everybody like, what's going like what?
Yeah, yeah, like what the heck?
What's going on? Kind of last question. I gotta put it to you on the spot a little bit, Ariel. I'm sorry, but whenever I guess you kind of look at everything as far as your CrossFit career so far and everything you've accomplished, like what kind of gets you excited and like I guess when you wake up and like want to chase something more, I guess what gets you up and excited about your CrossFit thing career so far?
Yeah, I before I made it to the games, I failed to make it many times. So I just have an appreciation for where I'm at. I also have worked the 8 to 5 in a cubicle, no windows. So I know what it's like and I know how hard it is to make money. So whenever I wake up, I'm like, I get to wake up anytime I want throughout the day. I get to work out anytime I want throughout the day. How could I not love my life? So I try and just keep in perspective, okay, you could be at work 8 to 5 stuck behind a desk, but instead you get to work out whenever you want. Suck it up, don't be a baby. Keeping that
Yeah,
perspective makes my job awesome and makes me love it.
that's so awesome. And like you said, just having that job where like the 8 to 5, like oh, it could be so crazy, but when you get to go work out, like oh no, oh yeah, this is what I love. I get to work out. That perspective, of, like
Yeah.
I get to work out. I get to do this. So
And
hearing
then
that,
get to work out, but then after I work out, let's say for 2 months hard, I get to go show off, I guess you'd put it, in front of a crowd and meet new people from the community. So it's fun that like sometimes it can get dark and overwhelming training, but then I get the awesome meeting the community, getting in front of the fans, going to the games, WFP, and that kind of fills up my cup. So whenever I come back home, I'm motivated to do it again.
that's so awesome that you get that experience and that exposure to except just reap the benefits of what you put in.
Right.
Well, Ariel, thank you so much for your time. I can't thank you enough. Like I said, you're a legend in the sport. You're an elite athlete, so I can't thank you for your time. I know you're got some big competitions coming up, so I can't thank you for your time again. It's so awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Anything you need to say or shout out anybody before you head out?
No, hopefully I'll see you in Amarillo at the 806 Classic. If not this year, maybe next year.
Awesome. I can't wait to see you hopefully compete and hopefully have some fun here.
Love it. Thanks,
Awesome,
Carter.
Ariel. Thank you, Ariel.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.